Hello, everybody. This is teacher Rodrigo Sapien, and this is me talking about formatting and text effects here on Microsoft Word. Now, of course, the first thing you have to do is open Microsoft Word, and we have to go to this screen in particular. We're going to go through the Home tab and talk about how to format text in specific ways. Now, we are going to go ahead and mention a couple of things that we will talk about again in the future in more detail. But for now, we're going to focus on how we can modify the text in different forms. It's a really interesting tool that we can use, and it's all here in the home screen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, of course, indicate that this is a formatting. And of course, we're going to talk about text effects. Okay, so the first thing to talk about, we've already talked about bullets, so we're going to establish a few bullets, a few points to indicate what's going to happen with the text. The first one that we're going to mention is solid text. Okay, and of course, is the type of text that is not modified. It's just the way it's supposed to be, the way it's originally created by default. Okay, that's the first thing. The next one that I think is pretty important or pretty interesting is the outlined text. Okay, now for the outlined text, in order to appreciate it, okay, and to see it rather, we are going to look at this menu right here. Right here on the A, that you have this little A that seems to be glowing in blue. This one has the options that we're looking for. So if we select the outlined text, we open this and we go here to outline. Okay, here are some default settings. We're not going to talk about those at the moment. I would like you guys to go ahead and try to experiment by clicking on these and telling us what happens. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about an outline. What is the outline? It's just basically the outside, like the name says, the outside line of the letter, of each one of the letters. So we're going to select an outline that is not black. Okay, we're going to select the outline of red, just so it's visually easier. Now, as you can notice here, you could see that the text is red, but it's not really clear what's happening or what's going on. So we're going to select it again, and we're going to make it bigger, just so we can appreciate what's really happening. So let's make it quite a bit bigger. Okay, we're going to go all the way up to 24 in size. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can appreciate this a little clearer. This is 200% zoom in, and this is outline text in Calibri 24 size font. So as you can see, the outside of the text is in red, and the inside is black. Now, the other thing that's pretty interesting is that you can also modify the inside of the text. The outside, of course, is the outline, and you modify it here. You could put it in any color you want. You could put it in yellow, and you can see how it changes. And just the outside, you could put it in green, or you could put it in any color you like. And also, the inside is modified with this menu right here that says font color, this little pop-up menu that we see here. Okay, so if we change the inside, we could change it to something that contrasts the green. So in this case, I'm going to choose yellow. Let's see what happens if I click on the yellow one. So as you can see, the inside of the text is yellow and the outside is green. Of course, this helps to give format and to give a visually friendlier look or a graphic design, if you will, to your text, especially if you're talking about, or if you're doing, let's say, a title of a document. If you could hold on a second. I'm having problems with my mic. Give me literally 1 second. Well, a little more. Okay, that should hold. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we have the outline text like this. So again, how you modify the outside is by popping this menu. The outline, you could change it into any color you like. Of course, you have to select the text first. So if you change it to red, the outline is red. And the inside, you modify it with this one, with the font color in this menu over here. Okay, also, another thing that's important to notify about the outline is that you have different options within the outline. Like, for example, the weight is how thick you want the outline to be. You can make it thinner, like a 1/4 point. This is considerably thinner. Okay, or you could make it a lot thicker. The one that we had right now was actually 3/4 of a point, but let's say if you can go all the way up to 3 points, and of course it's very thick. The problem is that when the outline is so thick, you cannot really appreciate the inside. So let's go back to the outline. Okay, and we're going to put it at 1 point. Okay, so now it's 1 point in the outside, and the inside or the filling of the text is yellow. Okay, this is one way of using the outline text, and I think this is a pretty interesting tool. The next one we're going to talk about is a shadow. Okay, the shadow effect. All right, if you select the shadow, well, if you select the text, you click on this thing and we go to the shadow effect. Now, this is outer shadow, which means that it goes to the outside of the letter. And it goes to different points. It goes to the bottom left, to the center, to the bottom right. Well, bottom left. This is bottom right. This is bottom left. This is at the center, etc. Inside shadow, which is another effect. The perspective, when the light is in a different place. So let's choose one that is that we can appreciate. So let's choose just the first one. Okay, we choose it like this. And maybe you can't see it clearly, so we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And as you can see, the shadow is a lot clearer. Now, if it's not clear to you, I'm going to take it off so you know what it looks like without it. So no shadow. See, it looks completely different. Okay, so let's look at the shadow again, like this, and you can see that the shadow is right there. It has a little bit of a shade right underneath or under the word shadow. Okay, also, whenever you use the shadow over here in the shadow options, okay, you can do many other things to the shadow, which is really interesting. Okay, so you have a bunch of presets, which are the ones that we were looking at right now. But also, you could increase the transparency or decrease it. Let's say if you want to decrease it, then the shadow becomes a lot more intense. If you increase it, the shadow almost disappears. So let's put, it was at 60%, I'm going to put it at 50%. Now, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of the letters so you can appreciate the shadow a little more. Let's do some light green. Okay, this is an easier way of appreciating the shadow. Now, the other thing is that you could change the size of the shadow. The shadow can be considerably bigger than the letters or way, way smaller, of course. I don't know why I would do this, but it's an option of something that you can modify. If you can get creative, maybe it'll help you. Now, the blur, of course, is how blurry, it's kind of obvious you want it to be. You can increase the value and it becomes more blurry. Not as clear, of course, okay, or considerably less blurry, okay, more direct, much more defined. Okay, the default here is 4. Okay, the angle is also something pretty important. Right now it's at 45 degrees. Okay, let's put it at 90 degrees. Let's see what happens if you put it at 90 degrees. It moves to the side. If we put it at 180 degrees, it's on the other side. If we put 270 degrees, is at the other side. Or if we put 0 degrees or 360, it's nowhere to be seen. So let's put it at 45. And the distance is also pretty important. How far is the shadow from the letters? So let's increase it to see what happens. As you can see, the shadow goes farther and farther away. That's at 25 points. The default, I think, was 3 points. Okay, there you go. It looks a little bit more believable. Okay, so that's the shadow. The next one is a pretty cool one too. It's called the reflection. Okay, it's not the same thing as the shadow. This tends to be confused for some reason. Okay, now for the reflection, it's also in this menu. We go to the reflection, and it's like the letters are sitting on a mirror, or they're sitting on a lake or something like that. And it's pretty interesting. It's like a mirror is underneath the word reflection. This is really interesting. It's quite a beautiful effect, especially if you're going to be working on a title. Now, if you increase the options, it also has a series of effects, right? Transparency. You know how transparent you want it to be. No, wait. That part's incorrect. It's down here. The transparency, here we go. If it's, more transparent all the way to the point in which you can't see it, or if it's completely clear. Okay, the size of it, same situation. How big do you want it to be? Do you want it to be as big as the original letters or considerably smaller? That's another option, right? Blur, again, same situation. Really blurry or not blurry at all. The distance, how far is it from the letters themselves, or is it going to be just sitting there directly? Okay, let's see what we see in the next one. The next one is, of course, the glow. The glow, I like this one too for titles. It's actually very nice. All of these are very nice. The thing is that we need to know when we're going to use them. Okay? So if we click, these are pretty simple. Let's click on a blue one. If we click on this one, we're going to see that the letters are going to glow like they have a light underneath them, right? And in the glow, you can also change the colors, right? You could do a red, maybe, right? So they're glowing red, or you could make them glow. Let's see what options it gives us. Okay, the options are down here. Again, the size, you can make the size a lot bigger, okay? Or you can make the transparency, considerably different, right? Of course, this is a matter of taste. It depends on how you want it to look. All these things are optional, okay? So I recommend you guys get creative as much as you can for glowing, okay? Now, for the number styles, this is really interesting, okay? You know how there's uppercase when people speaks and lowercase. I'm sorry, when people spell. For numbers, something similar exists, but we don't really use it. Okay, and with this thing, you could do. Let's say that you could do the same. You could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. All the digits that we normally use. Okay, and select it again. Select them and go to the number styles. And as you can see, you have different styles. Okay, the ones that are the most different ones. Okay, this is really interesting. Proportional lining, which means that all the numbers are spaced proportionately. They have the exact same space between them. Okay, in the other one, this is also pretty interesting. Well, let's do first. Let's do the default. Okay, so I'm going to indicate this. This is default. Okay. In the next one, let's see what I choose. Okay, the next one, I'm going to copy this just to continue doing this thing. The next one is with an equal separation of the spaces. Okay, the proportional lining. Proportional lining. Now, you might not notice much of a difference, but there is a difference. There is a slight difference in the numbers. As you can see, they're not as thick. They're thinner because the space is exactly the same. In this one, the space varies quite a bit. In this next one, something else also happens. The tabular lining, full height numbers spaced equally. In the previous one, it was proportionally. In this one, it's spaced equally. Okay, they're a little bit different. You might not notice it, but they do differentiate just a little bit. Let's see, what was the name of that thing? I forgot. For this one, it's a tabular lining. Tabular lining. Okay, for the next one I want to see or I want to talk about, which is also pretty interesting. I think I'm going to skip one. Yeah, I'm going to skip no, I'm going to go to the proportional old style. Okay, these are similar, okay, to text. As I was telling you, the small caps and the uppercase and the lowercase, or small caps or high caps. So check this out. What happens is that the numbers are behaving as if they were letters, which is a very old way of using letters. That's why it's called proportional old style. Okay? Proportional old style. Okay? Which is quite beautiful in my opinion. Okay, and the next one is the same thing. It's a proportional old style, but it's with equal spacing. Tabular old style. Okay, tabular old style. Now, a lot of these work with different types of fonts. It depends on the font that you are using. The font is going to affect the way you're looking at these numbers. Okay, the next one is called ligatures. Okay, ligatures are used to connect certain specific letters with each other. Now, one of the things that happens is that many years ago, we used to write in cursive. I don't know if any of you have ever written in cursive. I learned how to do it back when I was a kid. I want to say 30-something years ago. I was trying to learn how to do it, and I actually was able to write cursive, but I didn't really need it after a while, so I stopped doing it. Well, the ligatures is kind of a light version of this because the script was done to be able to connect letters, right? To connect letters with each other, and so you had a flow of writing. It made you write really fast. This is kind of a way of connecting, just normal writing. What's it called? Not script, the other one. I can't remember what it is, but how you write it and to connect certain letters. So the ligatures are for that exactly. Now, for that, we're going to generate just a random text. For that, I recommend you guys go to this website, loremipsum.io. Now, lorem ipsum, as it says here, is a placeholder for text used in graphic, print, and publishing industries for previewing layouts and visual mockups. So for this one, we're going to preview how it works. So with this thing, you generate it. Okay, so I'm going to put 5, and then I'm going to put 5 sentences really quick, and I'm going to generate it. Okay, I'm going to generate the text. It's a very short text. Now, this type of text makes no sense. No sense at all. It's just generic. It always starts with lorem ipsum, and then the next words don't really mean anything. It's a computer thing that we could use. So I'm going to copy this. There we go. I copied it, and I'm going to go back to Word right here, and I'm going to copy this thing. We're going to start with standard ligatures, okay? So I'm going to copy this thing. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go here to Edit, Paste Special, and I'm going to paste it with no format, unformatted text. So it's going to paste only text. Okay? Ignore the correction of the text. Just ignore that. Okay? But what I want you to see is that for this one, for standard text, there's no changes, nothing. Okay? For this next one, it's called standard and contextual. Okay, standard and contextual. Okay, sorry if I struggle to say those words. So we're gonna paste it again. Again, we're gonna do it with. Well, I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy it from here. Okay, there we go. So for this one, we're going to select. Well, we're gonna hit Enter, so we have a separate bullet point. So for this one, we're gonna select it. We're going to go here to the ligatures. The first one is standard. Okay, and then I don't think it has any... Oh, wait a minute. I am sorry. We're going to go here, and the standard... There is a standard ligature. So we're going to go here. We're going to include the standard thing, and it's going to connect some letters. I don't think there's any letters connected here. Let me see. No, there aren't any. Okay, let me grab some letters that are actually going to connect for standard. I have some here. I have some backup, so you don't have to worry about it. Here we go, the backup. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate this thing. Okay, and I'm going to copy a different one. I'm going to copy it with no, because like I said, I have a backup. Unformatted. There we go. So I have this text right here, and I'm going to show you how it connects with standard ligatures, okay? Standard ligatures. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there are a couple of differences. It united the T with the I right there. It put them together. Okay, they're connected. There's another one. There's a T and an I here. And there's some other ones that are actually going to connect. Okay, for standard and contextual, there's also another one that I'm going to show you here. I'm going to copy another one that I've already used because I know that it's going to connect something. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, this works. Okay, for standard and contextual, we're going to paste special again, unformatted, and we're going to select it, and we're going to choose in the ligatures standard and contextual. Standard and contextual. For this one, it also made some connections. It made the TI connection right there. The TI is also, where is it? There's another one, I think. There's another one here. Okay? So the ligatures are to do that. I recommend that if you're going to do some ligatures, try to make any kind of connection to see what's going to happen. The historical and discretionary also. But I'm going to show you the one that has all the ligatures, okay? All ligatures available. This is probably the ones that you probably want to use. They tend to make these a little bit friendlier for you to try and connect anything, really. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to copy this thing right here. I'm going to copy it here, and I'm going to paste it with a no format. just so we can have the option. And I'm going to paste a little bit more here. I have some backup as well for stuff that has already worked with me. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to connect this here. We're going to paste special here. And we're going to see what happens. Okay, so we're going to select this text and we're going to go to all the available ligatures. Okay, all ligatures. Now, you're going to see that this did some pretty interesting things. The TI right here, it also uses the CT, but it connects them on the top, which is quite beautiful. Okay, and here, the egestas thing, or whatever it is, it connects it also like that. So you're going to have all the connections that are available depending on what you want to use. Okay, it's really interesting. For the next section we're going to talk about is referred to as the stylistic writing. Stylistic writing. Now, there's a few things that you need to know before we use the stylistic writing. The first thing is that this type of style is only used with specific fonts. Now, it doesn't work with everything. I've tried it and it doesn't. I actually found that there's one in specific that I think it's default here in Word. Okay, in this case, we will use Gabriola font. Okay, so we're gonna copy this text right here. We're gonna see what happens. Okay, we're gonna copy just this short text. It doesn't need to be really big. Okay, so let's see if we can paste it here. No, it's not letting us. Okay, we're gonna copy it again. All right, let's go to paste special, unformatted text. Okay, we have paste special here again. Sorry about that. Paste special, unformatted text. Okay, and then we have this text right here. Okay, so let's see. We're going to select this text and we're going to change it over to Gabriola. Okay, Gabriola, there it is. It's suggesting it. Okay, so this text is a little bit different. Okay, we're going to select this thing. We're going to go to, again, this very extensive menu. And you can see here in the text that we have different options. Okay, some of these are very similar, okay? But the interesting ones are the ones that we have here in the middle. Now, as you can see with this one, the TH changes, the D changes, the L changes, but these right here changes the F, it changes the H in a very intense way. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we click on this thing. This might take a little bit of time because for some reason, my Word document takes a little bit of time to process. There we go. As you can see, the text changed in a very beautiful way, right? And you can see that this text expanded its horizons really beautifully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that so you can appreciate the whole thing, I'm going to expand the paragraph just so you could see the top and bottom of it in a much clearer way. Okay, so if we expand or we separate the lines, you are going to be able to see what it looks like in front and in the back. Okay, as you can see the G and the P and the A's, how they connect. It's really quite beautiful. Okay, and so forth and so on. Okay, I'm going to I don't think it's as necessary to separate it that far down. We're going to separate it to 1.15. Let's see if it looks a little better. Maybe it'll look better. It's not as separated, but it will allow you to look at the letters in a much clearer way. Okay, this is really quite nice. Okay, so I recommend you to use this in case you want to give your letters a little bit more style, but you can only use it with Gabriola. Okay, remember that if you have any questions, please let me know. So far, so good. Okay, in the next part, we're going to talk about the indent and paragraph, but that's going to have to be in a following video. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. I hope this information helped you, and please don't hesitate to give me a call or let me know if you have any comments or questions. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.